Is 3% enough?
Well, it's heading in the right direction. I think what I'm trying to convince people is that we've turned a corner in our history. What's happening in Ukraine isn't just going to stay in Ukraine, but actually it's going to have huge consequences, both from a kinetic, from a military perspective, but also in our way of life. And we do need to spend more on defense as we see Russia and China increasingly exert themselves with greater confidence and challenge our way of life. Our international rules-based order that has served us well for about 40 or 50 years looks very, very wobbly indeed. And I'd go even further without sounding too dramatic, that there's a 1938 feel to where we are today. And we need to be prepared for what is coming over the hill. Our Army, our Air Force, and our Navy actually were cut in their capabilities in the last review that took place a year ago. I'd like to see those cuts reversed and us be ready to have the hard power for what's coming over the horizon.
My guest in the studio yesterday was former Defence Secretary Michael Portillo, and we talked at some length about spending on defence, but in particular about where you get the money from. I suggested you could look at, for instance, and you can only do it once, I suppose, looking at foreign aid. We currently send, for instance, £250 million a year to Pakistan, currently, which is lining up with Russia more than it is with us right now. So we could question some of those spending decisions. But long term, where is the money going to come from? Would you borrow to invest in defence? Where's it coming from?
Well, it isn't for me to spell out where that money comes from. That's for the Treasury to understand the consequences of us not spending money on defence. What happens to our economy, our prosperity, if we don't look after our international interests, because it would be affected as it is now. The fact that we're not leaning into Ukraine enough to close down this war is having a direct effect on the cost of living because of food prices going up, oil and gas prices are going up. There's a global consequence here, and it's rippling right through to what's happening here in the UK. If we resolve and help Ukraine resolve the problems there, that will affect our local economy here, but we're not doing that.